Hey, hey, it's a brand new day and a brand new week of Marbella now. What a wonderful way to start the week here at the pharmacy, where you can eat vegan food, sin gluten, without gluten. You can get vegetarian food, and also on Sundays, a fabulous Iranian buffet, which is good for vegans and non-vegans alike, but certainly an opportunity to learn a bit more about our international community. We have some amazing guests lined up this week, and also we're going to be doing some yoga, so stay tuned. And as is the custom here at the pharmacy, I'm going to take my quote of the day, which says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." Well, that's certainly the case for me. Benjamin Franklin is the author of that quote. Let's start Marbella now, and I hope you have a fabulous week and that you enjoy the show.
One. Let the feeling into your soul. Let it set you on your way. No need to hesitate. Time to make a change. There'll be no trouble tearing us apart. Brothers, sisters, one beating heart. We can change if we try.
Hey, hey.
For 110 years, since the 8th of March 1908, women have been saying we want equal rights, we want a voice, we don't want to work more hours, get less money, no respect, no recognition, enough is enough. As I say, for 110 years, this has been going on. In 1908, 15,000 women took to the streets in the States to stand up for these rights. I can't believe Ali, president and founder of Costa Women, who is hosting another Women's Day on the 8th of March to commemorate this event, which we've been doing, as I say, for 110 years, still out there fighting the fight. It doesn't seem possible, Ali, that we can still be in this situation. What logic is there behind this?
Yeah, but we are getting there very slowly.
Slowly is an understatement.
Snowball up a hill, I think, at the moment. But yeah, slowly, and things this year that are, transpiring are hopefully making it quicker. But who knows? Well,
I have to say that here in Spain, you were just mentioning the Sur has done an article on women's movement starting in Spain.
Yeah.
However, just a few weeks ago, I heard the president of Spain on a radio interview, and he dismissed the question regarding equal rights, equal pay. He basically fobbed the question off. And it was such a disappointing view that no, there are important things to talk about, let's not discuss that now.
Okay.
When are we meant to discuss it? 110 years have gone by, and
another 110 years.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Through Costa Women, which is an amazing free association founded by you to unite women who feel alone or moving to Spain and they don't know anybody, help people with their businesses, entrepreneurs start off. And what you don't cover is, I don't know where to say. Give us a roundup of where Costa Women is today before we go and talk about International Women's Day.
Okay, Costa Women today is over 6,500 members. And we are over the whole of Spain, so not just here on the Costa del Sol, but over the whole of Spain.
So Costa Women has become a little short.
Yeah,
should be Spanish
women in Spain.
Women basically. In Spain, fabulous.
Yeah. And as Nicole mentioned, we have women that are thinking about moving to Spain and want to ask some questions about, what it's like for children here. Can they get work here? What would their life be like here? So I'm increasingly seeing women thinking about moving to Spain and using it as a resource, which is great.
You started this because you just moved to Spain and you found you didn't really have that network of friends, connections, felt isolated, and now you thought, well, I'll make some friends and start connecting them.
Yeah, I started it. We lived in Spain before and I was working from home, and it was before social media, before Facebook or Twitter, and it was really hard to make friends because I was working from home. I never really saw anybody. So when we came back in 2010, I thought I'll create something for Billy No Mates, and it's just grown from there.
To have an increase in the sense to have over 6,000 women of all nationalities. This
Yeah.
isn't
No, it's
English
not. No,
women,
it's not.
English speaking maybe, but it's
Yeah.
not for English women. It's for anybody
Yeah,
who
we've
feels
got-
they want to be part of something.
We've got 63 different nationalities, so Chinese, Japanese, Moldovan, whatever nationality you can think of, they're there. Yeah,
And
represented.
apart from being a networking association online, which is the original concept, you've taken it a step further and you actually organise meetups in the different areas. And
do.
those are quite frequent, so that's a really nice way of actually meeting people and making friends.
Yeah, we've got on Facebook, we've got 23 different locations where we meet. And here on the Costa del Sol, we have about 10 to 15 events a month where women can meet up. So there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
There is.
Once every
Yeah.
other day you could be doing something
you
in
could.
a group.
Yeah, you don't need to be alone. I mean, one lady came to one of our events and she hadn't seen anybody for over 6 months apart from her husband and the dog. So it's just that type of resource that women that are lonely and maybe don't see anybody, they've just arrived, they don't think about their own health, well-being, friendship side of it, to help support them too.
And yet it's a proven fact that having friends is one of the healthiest things
is.
that you can do.
Yeah, it's
Be with
supposed to-
friends more so even than a spouse or with children.
Yeah.
It's to have friends, time to laugh, time to relax, share intimacies, stories. And
Yeah.
that is basically what is going to happen on the 8th of March at the Andalusia Lab.
It is.
An opportunity for women to share their experiences, stories, get advice from professionals. What's the schedule, the lineup for this year's event?
We've got we've got 7 speakers, but there'll be 9 women taking to the stage altogether because we've got 2 interviews going to be on the stage and covering everything from confidence through to social media. There's a lady coming, Yvonne Radley, who's just been to the social media conference in San Diego. She will be bringing back the tips that she's learned from San Diego, which will be fabulous. And all sorts of things that affect women in business and women in life, basically. We've got sponsors that are kindly sponsoring the event. So that's Currencies Direct, Casa Seguros, Caixa Bank, and also Black Tower. They're sponsoring the event, which is great, to facilitate and enable this event to take place.
And
So
is this open to anyone? Is it only for women?
it's only for women, but it is open to any women that want to come along and meet us and find out more about Costa Women. We're also supporting 2 charities, Amasuvig, which is a domestic violence support unit, which we try and support every year, and Knitted Knockers. I don't know if you've had her
That
on the
sounds
show.
like a very interesting name. And what did Knitted Knockers do?
They make knitted prosthesis for women that have had breasts removed, because I don't know if you've ever seen a prosthesis,
No.
but they weigh about 1.5 kilos. So if you've had your breast removed and you've got this massive thing sitting inside your bra, it's really uncomfortable. So they've actually made these free. So if you know anybody that has had their breasts removed and are looking for
I want to
something
meet this
more
Knitted
comfortable,
Knockers lady.
I'll have to get them on
I
because
mean, what
they
an
are
appropriate
amazing.
name.
I know. It started in
how,
America.
How
but-
cool.
Yeah. So there's groups of ladies around the area that are knitting and making these. They're 100% cotton, so they're not allergenic, and you can wash them in the washing machine. They even do ones for swimming to go inside your swimming costume. So amazing, and they give them, as I said, they give them away free.
Absolutely.
So
Excuse
Bless
me,
you.
let us sneeze. Although there's what must be the pollen inside you, it's also natural. So little things like that, without the communication, people don't get to know about these
Yeah.
things. Bringing you back before, and you were saying about confidence.
yeah,
Even knowing you, the way your confidence has grown
Yeah.
in the years when you started the association and you're putting people together and you didn't really know what you were doing and it was growing so amazingly. You are so in control now, and there's 6,000 women looking to you for guidance. How does it feel knowing that you're helping so many people?
it's wonderful to feel that I'm.
Because it
you know,
shows
but
in you. You can
it's-
see that it's like
not. It's not really. I don't think it's me. It's the other women. So the fact that so many women have got behind it, like my tribe, have got behind it and they are happy to support it, and they come along to events. We've just started a buddy scheme this year, which is if you're new to Spain, you want to meet somebody who's already been here, done it, got the t-shirt, we'll connect you with another woman that's in your area. And that idea has just flown. I announced it in one group, and within 5 minutes I'd got loads of women saying, either I'll be a buddy or I need help. So it's fabulous.
It's wonderful. The hashtag Better Together is just seeing who needs what and putting them together, which
we're
is
totally
just
behind
fabulous.
Better Together.
And the other thing I really like is that now that Costa Women is nationwide, for example, I go to Madrid now and then on business, and if you have to stay over and you don't know anyone, it can be lonely travelling on business when you're a woman alone. But now to know that you just go into the Costa Women website and it's so beautifully and easily set up, even if you're not proficient in internet, and it can be scary for people over a certain age because it's not from our generation. But the nice thing is you just go in and you click the area, and then it comes up with the whole list of people in that area. And you know, as a Costa woman, hey, I'm going to be there, you know, do you want to get together? It's really amazing how simple things can really go so far.
Yeah, and make a difference to people. That's, for me, that's the most important thing, that we're making a positive difference to people and doing it together.
So do you have enough friends now, Ali?
I have quite a few friends now. Yeah,
I can imagine. Few friends and people in high places who influence people, I'm sure.
And I can no longer have an argument with my husband in the supermarket because someone will probably
Well, it was actually, I was having a discussion with somebody the other day, and I realised there was a girl who was walking her dog and she'd actually stopped. And I thought, I can just imagine now, there's going to be the live feed of Nicole King from Marbella now losing it, walking her dog. So it's like, if you see it, I'll explain the why and the wherefore behind the video another time. But it is, we live in a world that's very delicate. It's very quick to get good information out, but it's also very quick to get bad information out. As they say, a lie will run round the world before the truth even got out of bed.
It's very true.
You have to be very careful. The women working together and supporting each other is kind of the antithesis to what people think, you know, women bitching. This is quite the opposite with Costa Women. It's very, very supportive. And at the event on the 8th of March, even if you don't know anyone and you're not part of Costa Women, go, because it's a very welcoming group. The format for the day, what time does it start, how much does it cost, and what we're going to expect as we go through the day?
So it starts at 9:30 and we'll finish about 4:30. It will start with a lady who's actually going to be singing her song. She's just released a new album, so she's going to be singing, and then we'll have talks throughout the day. We have lunch from the fabulous Nelly G's, and there'll be 2 breaks during the day. It's €55, and that includes your lunch. If you're vegan or you want a different diet, let me know, because when you're booking, because then we can arrange that for you. And it's just going to be, it's our 6th one that we've done, and I think it's just going to be the best yet.
Well, I mean, each year you learn, you add on from the years before, and of course more people join in, the more people know about it. I mean, there really is just no words to congratulate you on the success of something that obviously is so needed. You are filling a niche. So the 8th of March is a Thursday. This is the event of the International Women's Day. But on the evening before, on Wednesday the 7th, there's going to be a lovely networking event at our space. Now, we recorded our programme there for a couple of months. So much fun, an amazing place, as is the pharmacy, offering something unique and essential to our community. Give us a quick rundown on what we can expect on the Wednesday evening.
From 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. If you're a woman, you're very welcome to come along. It's a free event at our space, and we will be providing networking ideas and tips, as well as giving you lots of time to network for your business. So make sure you bring your flyers and your business cards and are prepared to tell people what you do.
Well, Ali, it's just absolutely lovely to see you again.
To see you too.
And so lovely to see you and your association growing so beautifully. Costa Women is the association, and you've got 2 events. The Wednesday 7th of March from 6 to 8 p.m. at our space to do some networking just for women, and it's free, and then €55 on the Thursday 8th of March in the Andalusia Lab, starting at 9:30 in the morning, going all the way through, and their lunches included, and you'll get some great information, great feedback, and a great opportunity to meet people. Like our Ali did with her 6,000 plus friends. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Nicole. Thanks for being my friend.
Oh, thank you for being mine. 1 in 6,000 plus.
And as time flies by, you
Last week's sign was power abs. One more time, power abs. This week's sign is muscles from Brussels. One more time, muscles from Brussels.
It's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you.
Hey, hey.
Our roving art reporter, the lovely James Kyle, is back with us this week, and we're going to be talking about a very emblematic artist. His name is Pepe Morales. Unfortunately, he just passed away. I believe, James, hello, welcome back, that you were actually at his memorial service.
I was at his memorial service, and in fact, I had luncheon at the Sala with him 2 days before he died. I mean, I couldn't
So
believe
it was an unexpected passing.
Terribly, yes. I mean, he was 91, so he'd had a good innings, but he was perfectly
But he was out to
fit.
lunch a couple of days before.
Yeah, perfectly fit, walked back home. And I couldn't believe it when I heard on the Wednesday that he died on the Thursday that he died on the Wednesday.
So it was obviously, he passed of natural causes and hopefully in his sleep and
Yeah,
nothing more untoward.
just quietly faded away. And as we had this sort of private memorial service at his house, which is extraordinary. I mean, he's the only person that I know that has a theatre in his house that can easily sit, well, we had 50 people at the memorial service, and it could certainly sat more than that. Admittedly, it was all conducted by a Mexican priest, as his wife is Mexican, in Spanish, and the only time I've understood less of a service was when I went to my youngest son's wedding in Poland, and a high mass in Polish you don't understand an awful lot about. So, but it was...
How did you get to meet him in the first place?
Through some friends of ours, and she is Mexican, and so that was the Mexican connection that brought us together, and we used to have lunch most Mondays. With he and his wife, and
I suppose for him, you being such, you understand art and the world is so much in your nature that it must be also refreshing for artists to actually talk with someone who knows what they're talking about and understands them.
one would like to have said that, but unfortunately my Spanish is virtually nil and his English was nil, but we managed to communicate anyway.
Where there's a will, there certainly is a way.
Yes.
So what's so special about Pepe Morales' artwork?
Well, he was quite influential. I mean, some of his works, I'm told, have sold for up to 100,000 euros. So he's no mean artist. And his work is interesting. I have here a catalogue that he was kind enough to give me and dictate it to me.
Nice dedication there in the,
yes,
on the inside
in the
cover.
Inside. And
so he obviously, to fill a book like that, he's got a lot of artwork.
He's done quite a, yes, I mean, a lot of the pictures in there were ones that are now in private collections. And some are certainly in his own collection, and that's what was rather nice.
Isn't there an exhibition right now going on of his work in San Pedro?
There are, I think they've got 3 or 4 pictures at, oh Lord, I've lost the name of the gallery. Arte, which is just sort of opposite you know where the boats are on that road that runs down towards the front? It's just opposite on the corner there. And they're well worth going to have a look at if you're in the vicinity.
And what is his genre of, his style of artwork?
His style is, well, it's quite difficult. It's quite partially figurative and partially abstract. So you could say figurative abstract, I suppose. But it's quite interesting work. It's not altogether comfortable, easy living with work, but he's certainly, you know, an artist of note and repute.
Well, it's amazing how we're so lucky to have such amazing exhibitions and exhibits in our community. James, you and Linda like to go and visit all the exhibitions and the different galleries. what is the difference between, because we have so many art galleries in Marbella, and we are allowed to go in, you don't have to buy something, you're allowed to go in and visit. What is the difference between all the different galleries we have? Because you've got the Wanson Gallery, and then you've got the Museo Rally, which is much bigger than it looks from the outside.
Yes, it's a bit of a TARDIS, that, isn't it?
It is, but it's amazing. There is so much on offer. What is the Penguin Gallery, this gallery? Do they like specialise in different types of artwork? How would we, who are don't understand the art world, how would we know how to choose our visit, to make a little visit around all the different galleries?
Well, it depends what you're looking for. I mean, if you're just looking for art somewhere like the Rally is fine, because that is a non-commercial gallery and the works there are not for sale. But if you're looking to buy something for your house, then something like the Penguin Gallery has some very interesting exhibitions which are changing from time to time. In fact, I remember one not so very long ago. They had an artist from Cuba, and I wanted to buy one of them, and the damn thing had already been sold, which was most annoying. But he was fascinating. Not only did he have a lovely sense of light, but of course he had painted in his pictures all those lovely old 1950s American cars, which of course now things are getting better between Cuba and America, will doubtless be bought up by the American collectors and shipped back to the States to be replaced as taxis with bright new sparkling BMWs and things, which is rather a shame. Because
it's actually kind of fascinating, the life of a piece of artwork, because unlike many other things, it's something that can be owned by so many different people, and the value that specific items can acquire are amazing, how with time and the different owners that the value that is added to different pieces.
You don't own a work of art.
That's where I'm going.
You pay money to be allowed to have it in your house and dispose of it how you wished, but the art remains as art. You don't own it.
That was exactly where I was coming from. It's something that's tangible and yet completely elusive.
Yes, yeah. In fact, if I could divert for a little story I thought I might tell you today. There was a man called Alfred Munnings, who was the finest horse painter of the 20th century anywhere. And he's somebody that I've always sort of studied. And when I was at Wildenstein's, I was asked to take a picture that they had because it was unsigned and have it authenticated by Lady Munnings. This was 1961. Alfred had died in 59, so I never met him, sadly. But anyway, I arrive at Chelsea Park Gardens, which is where the London house was. Ring the bell. This little wizened feet creature comes. Yes, what do you want? Oh, Lady Munnings, my name's James Kyle. I've come from Wildenstein's. I believe they've let you know that we want you to authenticate this picture. Oh, come in then. Have you met Black Knight? Black Knight, Lady Munnings? Yes. No, I haven't. Oh, well, you better meet Black Knight. With which she throws open a door, to which is obviously her bedroom, and there, sitting on a black satin cushion, is this stuffed Pekingese. Well, say hello to Black Knight then. Hello, Black Knight. That's all right, he likes you. You can have a cup of tea. You do meet some strange people in the art world.
But they do say that, I always think of like Stephen Hawkins. He can't move, he can't do anything, but all his energy and everything is in his brain. And so we can't all have everything, you know what I mean? It's like your speciality is in certain areas, and if you are an artist, and if you can live with an artist, that also requires a certain talent, I think. You have to be a bit loopy to deal with it.
Well, of course, Munnings was made President of the Royal Academy in 1944 until 49, and as such, of course, it takes a knighthood. The President of the Royal Academy is automatically made to a knight. And there was a standing joke in the art world that the king had done one thing that God could never do, make Violet Munnings a lady. Very cruel.
And there you have it. Dave Carl, with the anecdotes from the art world. Absolutely fascinating as always, James. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
The whole town is a buzz because in the sports centre Paco Cantos, which is on the ring road that goes up from the Copper Tower in Marbella, you go up like halfway on the right hand side, there's a sports centre there, and they've just introduced this enormous, amazingly big rock climbing facility. This has been much asked for and long awaited in our city. Javier Merida, our sports councillor, is delighted, as is everybody, because this is a great opportunity for our children to go, not directly go and climb the concert, but to go and do climbing. It's a great challenge for them, and it's a great outdoor activity that is going to enhance their lives and give you something else to do. Now, if you're on the town register, the Padron, that means you can go and use these facilities. Charmaine Arbuin, our British consul, is always saying, sign on the Padron, as is our town hall. Why? Because that's how the local government gets funds from the central government, depending on the inhabitants. Signed on the town Padron, the town census, they get an allocation of funds for each individual to cover whether it's healthcare, policing, picking up the litter on the streets, and also for the facilities that are on offer for our community. For example, this wonderful rock climbing facility. Do check this out. Do check out whether you would like to be on the Padron or not. Some people are scared for tax reasons, others. It doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. It's just an internal figure given to the government to show how many people live here and what the city needs to keep it running smoothly. You can also be interactive. Go and do what the litter pickers do. You know, prepare yourself and go around. If you see litter on the street, pick it up, put it in the bin. Let's help keep our city as wonderful as it is.
Hey, hey.
Lily isn't with us this week because she's taking Romy to the hospital. He's having one of his operations, thanks to the fabulous St. Valentine's event at Conrad's, raising over €4,000. The first part of the operations he needs can be put into practice. There was a special raffle for Romy to have this operation. So well done to all our community, and a big thank you to Lily for her dedication and all the volunteers at AAA. Now, a lot of the community really do want to help, and I think we are really getting the message out that don't shop, adopt. It's very important that if you want a pet, that first you go to one of the rescue centres in the area that you live to see if you can get a cat or dog from them. You obviously need to pay for them from AAA to cover all the vaccines, the vaccinations, and all the treatments that they have to make sure that you're taking a healthy dog home, or that you know if you're not taking a healthy dog home, what care they need. It's very important to take the big dogs. It's very important to take the old dogs. They're the ones that suffer the most living in a rescue centre. Now, it's lovely to see a lot of you want to help out. However, just showing up at AAA isn't actually helping, because they don't have enough people to deal with people just showing up and saying, I want a dog, but I don't know what I want. They have, however, a fabulous website. If you go to the website of AAA, you will see that there is a sections of cats and dogs, and you can actually go in, and thanks to the fabulous volunteers at AAA, look at a photograph of every single animal that's in the shelter, with information, as much information as possible that they have about that animal, estimated age and everything about it. Obviously, if a dog is stray, lost, abandoned, it's not always to have a lot of information, but AAA do look carefully at the type of animal, its temperament, to make sure that it is suited to the home that it's going to go to. To make this process easy for everyone, you go to the website, you look through all the photographs of the animals that are on that website, and then when you do go to AAA, you will have an idea of the breed, the size of dog that you want, the kind of thing that you're looking for, so that they then can take your few selected animals for you to see, as opposed to arriving and saying, wow, 300 dogs, 300 cats, where do I start? That really isn't helping. It just makes it more complicated for everyone. So heads up, go to the website of AAA, look through all the animals that are desperately in need of a loving, caring home, see which one suits your family. And if you can't actually take one home, what you can do is this fabulous idea that Lily had of this virtual adoption. You can choose a dog on site, and until its home is found, you can pay specifically for that animal, visit that animal, and get information and updates on that animal. So it's kind of yours, but if you're living in an apartment, or you're not allowed pets, or you're out all day working, this is a wonderful way of having your own pet to love and care for without having to have it in your home. Well, thank you very much, Marbella. It's lovely how much we love our animals, as much as hopefully we love ourselves. Take care of yourselves and take care of your pets. They need us and we need them.
Hey, hey.
Marbella's a perfect place because you just never know who you're going to meet. And thanks to Elendil Diaz, who is an amazing performer. He's just a very talented, musically minded gentleman who also owns the Rio Padron recording studios in Estepona. Well, thanks to Elendil, I met this gentleman. His name is James, and the reason he's here today is because we're going to be talking about orchids, and the excitement behind it is because James wrote to me saying orchids are not only intelligent, but they're probably the best con artist that nature has to offer. So with an introduction like that, James, I mean,
where's the story go?
I know, it sounds fascinating. So welcome
well,
to the
just
show.
let me explain why I got into the story, because I mean, I'm billed as an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm an enthusiast. I'm an orchid enthusiast. And what happened to me some months ago, because in Estepona we've now got a new centre, which is an orchidarium. And it's a very spectacular place. Many people will have probably seen it. Curious structure. And so I actually went in there just to have a look round. I wasn't that bothered about, learning about orchids. But I bumped into the dude who actually sorted the place out. It was his concept, and he actually persuaded the town hall to do it, did the whole thing. And I bumped into him inside the place and got talking to him about orchids. And what he said was, the first thing he said was, well, because I'm saying, well, what is it about orchids? What is it? What it loves? I know they're beautiful flowers, but is there more? Oh, yes, he says. What is it? Well, he says, for a start, he says, did you know that the orchid is the world's #1 most successful flowering plant? Oh, really? Over 30,000 varieties across the world. Ah, I didn't know that, right. So my first question immediately was, well, so what have you got to do to be the world's #1? And that's when it started. Then I got the guy telling me some really amazing stories about bloody orchids. They're incredible. They're total con artists and they're super intelligent. So I was mesmerized by all this. In fact, to the point where I've actually persuaded him, because there isn't a guide for the orchid house, so I'm now creating an app where he actually is going around, and I think we're doing about 14 different flowers as you go around the place, and explaining what each one of these flowers does, because it's all about cross-pollination. And they've all got a trick. They've all got an amazing trick. What people don't know about orchids is, unlike most flowers, they actually select the pollinator. Now, normally a flower just gets lucky, something comes along, goes in, and cross-pollinate. Not the orchid. The orchid actually selects some ant, some beast, a bird or a beetle or whatever it is, and then they actually organise to entice this particular pollinator, trick it. Super brilliant tricks they get up to. So what I've got Manuel Lucas is the guy, I've got him going around the place and explaining some of these stories.
So each orchid within this amazingly varied species has its own trick, or does within an orchid it decides itself how it's going to adapt?
There's as many tricks as there are orchids. I mean, the one thing they've all got in common is they all basically, it's like a sort of landing platform. One of the leaves, they've all got the same particular leaf. It's called a labellum, it's the lower leaf, and that's where they attract the pollinators to come. So that's
it gives them somewhere to sit and to rest.
Well, it gives them whatever. No, well, let me explain. There's lots of different things that happen, and I think a very good way to explain exactly how clever these flowers are is to actually let's do a role play. All right, you don't mind a bit of role play?
No, let's go for it.
And I'm going to be an orchid, so you're going to interview an orchid, right? And the orchid that I've chosen to actually use is the reason I've chosen it is because it's endemic to southern Spain. If you go into the Campo north of Malaga, heaving with this particular flower. It's called an ophrys, right? And I'm going to tell you the story of the ophrys. right? But I'm going to be the officer. So you're now going to interview an office.
Well, it's very nice to meet you. I've never actually interviewed an orchid.
Well,
but
here you go.
it's a pleasure. And you are apparently very intelligent and also a little bit of a con artist.
Well, I'm going to explain to you just what we get up to, right? Now, the thing is, what we did, we officers, we selected a particular type of bee as our pollinator. So then we got together to actually make sure that these bees came along and did the business with us, right? And our trick is called pseudo-copulation. That's right.
Explain yourself, please.
Pseudo-copulation. Well, this is what we do. This is our trick, right? And what happens is this. It's not that complicated, right? Because these particular bees are very simple creatures, and what the male does, first of all, it has to see a bee, see a female. Females are very distinct shape. So what we did, well, what my ancestors did, we've got the labellum. Now, you might wonder how the hell we did this, but we did it, right? And what we've got in our lower leaf, in our lower petal, we've created the shape of a female bee. And it's absolutely stunning. You should see it. Bee. So the guy, the male, actually sees, right, there's a female, right. But then the second thing is that if the female's on heat, it actually emits what's called a pheromone. Pheromone is a smell, all right, which the smell tells the male that the girl's ready to go, all right? So, of course, this was a bit more complicated for my ancestors because what we had to do was create the stuff, right? We've got to be able to squirt out the smell as well as have the picture, right? But that wasn't a problem. Now, this particular chemical, the pheromone, is made up of a number, it's a quite complex chemical to make. So how did we do it? Incredible. Well, what we've got this deal going, right? We've got this deal going with this Irish dude who lives in the soil, right? He's called Mike O'Roysel, right? And Mike, in fact, his full name is Mike O'Roysel Fungus, right? And he's in the soil. And we've got the deal with him. And what happens is, basically, because I'm up there doing this thing called photosynthesis, and I'm creating this incredible energy drink called glucose, right, out of the sun's energy. And what I do with the dude is I give him some of my energy, and in return he brings me whatever I want. So, of course, all those years ago, what we did was we analysed the smell, worked out the different chemicals we needed, and we told the boy to go and get the stuff, right, and how he brought it to us, right?
Amazing what teamwork can do, all these elements joining together.
Well, this particular fungus, Mike, he's actually quite famous. He's in the Guinness Book of Records because he has been spotted as being the world's largest living organism. There's one of his species in Oregon that they found not long ago, and it's covering, wait for it, 2,400 acres. Right? Because what they do, these guys, is they put out all these tubes, right, called hyphae. And all these tubes are basically, they're delivery tubes because they go into the soil all over the place. For instance, what I've also got going with Mike is that he gives me, I need about 30 nutrients, right? And he brings all the nutrients to me via his tubes. And he knows what, I can tell him what I want and he goes and gets it. It's incredible because I can't go directly into the soil and get it myself, but it's all there in the soil. So he gets it for me. So we've got this incredible deal going with this guy. So he's the one who got me all the chemicals to make the smell, right? But I've also got a little, just up here, I've got a little chemistry lab. So I was able to put it together and I've made an exact copy of the smell that the bee produces. And of course, when the male buzzes around, poof, I blow it out and in he comes. I've also made my little story tactile as well. Because not only do they see the female, what I did with the end of my leaves, I made them all furry. So that when he lands, it feels like a female bee.
Smells like it, smells like it.
It does it all, baby. So, of course, he comes and he does the business. And where he lands, I've got this sort of pollen core where he's actually getting covered in pollen. So then, of course, off he goes to the next flower and cross-pollinates.
Absolutely fascinating. Somebody who never thought of orchids before walks into the orchid place that they have opened in Estepona, which I've been dying to go and see actually. And all this passion, who'd have thought, from an orchid can have you so enthralled and
But
enthused?
this is just one orchid story. I've just recorded 14 others, and they're all individual stories, and they're all different, and they're all, what, are you serious? Clever stuff.
I mean, apparently from the little I know, it is the largest group of family of flower is the orchid group.
30,000 varieties. Biggest. In fact, what we've got in the reason it's a funny shape, our orchid house in Estepona, is because we have in there 4 unique microclimates. So what we've got is basically orchids from a lot of different places in the world. That's why it's a weird shape, because we've got this facility, which gives us, I think we've got about 1,000 varieties in there.
Quite
lot.
fascinating.
And each one's got its own story.
It's definitely something we should go and visit. When it first opened, I think it was a bit difficult with the timetables. People went, it wasn't open. But these
it's all
things do
sorted
take
now.
time to get themselves
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
find their niche.
Well, I'll introduce you to Manuel, and he can show you around, because
Well, we should go
he
with
is
the cameras,
man.
undoubtedly.
Totally.
But you obviously have to give us the tour, James. I mean, have you ever seen such passion? Or it's like
I'm just an enthusiast, because it's just interesting
well, maybe you
stories.
should start an orchid fair or competition there, so people come from all around the world and bring their orchids and do
Well,
a competition.
once we've actually got, because the thing is, people go to the place now, they walk around, they see all these lovely orchids, and then they go. What have they
Well,
got?
if they're not getting an
They've seen lovely
explanation, as you're
orchids.
saying,
But the
they're not
stories-
understanding.
The stories are, what? Are you serious? This flower did this? So I've got all these stories. So people are going to go around and go out with a very different point of view. They're going to love the stories because they are fascinating.
They are, especially the way you tell them. It's the way you tell
way you tell them.
It's the way you tell them. But it really is. It's a delight. I mean, to see the joy in your eyes. You're obviously
Well, it's a
enthused
buzz, you know.
about
It's
it.
a buzz. It's great.
And learning something new.
And it's something
so
very,
unexpected.
very interesting. You know, I've learned all kinds of stuff. For instance, you know, about the fungi. They're amazing. Because do you know the fungi, actually, they've got this symbiosis with many plants. They actually congregate around the roots of plants, protecting from pathogens and also bringing the food that they need. But what is interesting, because the thing is, this network of tubes they've got covers, as you know, many, many hectares. And these tubes are just waiting. They get told by the plant what nutrients required. So,
There's an actual selective
it's
process.
a selective process, and
Gosh.
the thing is that the actual fungus then knows which tube is near whatever they want, but the fungus can't actually get it out of the soil. It's got a deal going with bacteria. Now bacteria, there's millions of different bacteria, and they all secrete a different enzyme. And the enzyme, I don't know if you know what an enzyme is, it's a bit of chemical that if you can actually use this chemical to do something chemical without it getting involved in the chemistry. So it's apart from it, right? And what it does, it liberates. So right, so I want some iron, right? So I tell the fungus, goes to where there's some iron, tells the bacteria gets the iron, puts it in the tube, comes back and gives it to me, man.
I wish we could learn from nature to do things as simply and as such a harmony as nature seems
The
to
natural
work.
world is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And we're so busy being unnatural. It really is everything that we do.
Well, it's very
Not here in the
unfortunate.
pharmacy though. Everything here is very natural, which is why it fits in perfectly. You should have your own biology show or something. I mean, really, this guy is just fascinating.
Well, there's a lot of stuff actually that we might meet again actually, because there's some interesting things around here. The Med, for instance, the beginning of the Med, that's a very interesting story. I'll tell you that one.
Well, I definitely
these
think this
days.
is a character that we'd like to have more often
I'll be back.
on the show. No, really, James, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. And anyone who does anything with such joy and enthusiasm makes it contagious. I can't wait to go now to visit the orchid.
Very good. And I'll take you to visit
Orchid
the
house,
Med.
orchid museum, orchid. What is it? An orchid.
It's an orchid. Well, it's basically what's different.
Orchid
about
house?
It is an orchid house, but the difference between most orchid houses and that one is that they're all living there forever. Normally, when you go to an orchid display, the flowering orchid's put up. You see it, blah 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 blah. When it dies, off it goes, and they put another flowered one up. No, not there, because what they've got there is over 1,000 varieties. What they reckon is that there's at least 50 flowering at any one time. because of course some of them only
Because
fly
they have so many.
for a few hours. Well, you need that many.
So for a few hours, it's
No,
like
no,
today's
a few
the
hours
day.
a year. No,
It's
no,
like
some of them
today's
are
the
like
day,
that.
today's
Some of them
the
are
day.
like that. Some of them fly for weeks, but a lot of them fly for a very short time.
Well,
so you've
part
got to
one
plan.
of James, he will be back, I'm sure, and I will be
Probably.
very much looking forward to that. It's been absolutely fascinating, James.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Isn't that fun?
Thank you.
And informative.
Hey, hey.
Hello again, Marbella. It's Amanda here again, courtesy of Nicole King and Marbella Now TV. And hello to you all. And I'm actually quite glad I've got my notes with me here so I can fan myself off a little bit after listening to James talking about his orchids and their the sex life of the orchid, which was absolutely fascinating and slightly steamy. I think you'll agree with me. The sort of thing that I should be used to. So, as I said, I fanned myself off after that. Now, I've got a problem here to talk to you about, which is actually quite relevant to some things that are going to be going on the show during this week. And Mrs. Smith has written to me with a problem which is actually very, very common, incredibly so, and has become more and more in the public eye over the last few years, and is actually something that I suffer from myself to a large degree, and that's sleeplessness. Now, we're not talking about 1 or 2 nights every 3 months that you can't sleep, or you're worried about something and you can't sleep. She's actually, her body clock is almost tuned to that of an owl, like the saying night owl, morning lark, and her husband's is not. And she finds it very, very difficult to get to sleep. Occasionally she has a good night's sleep. Most of the time she works her life around her sleep patterns and ends up sleeping from about 5 o'clock in the morning and then gets up at about midday, 1 o'clock. So that interferes a lot with her social life, with her relationships, and it's interfering very much so with her relationship with her husband. Now, not sleeping can be down to many, many reasons, and there are many ways of helping with it that are non-medical. I think one of the first things you can do if you are suffering from extreme insomnia is do go to your doctor, go to your GP and explain. Not necessarily to take sleeping tablets, but to investigate any areas that may be causing that for you, that might be physical rather than emotional or lifestyle based. And when I say lifestyle based, there are many, many things we do that really do interrupt our sleep patterns and stop us sleeping properly. Among them smoking, of which I'm guilty, drinking. Alcohol in a very small amount can actually aid sleep. In a larger amount, i.e. 6 cocktails, it might get you off to sleep, but it won't keep you asleep. You'll wake up and have disturbed nights. Eating late at night, caffeine, all the obvious things. Watching exciting, mad, crash-bang films on television. Computer games, lights in the bedroom, all this sort of thing affect how we sleep. Most of us know about the effects of melatonin and light and how that affects our body clock and how we've got this natural clock built into us physically to help us sleep or not to sleep. But to get back to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, one of the things that's happened is that Mr. and Mrs. Smith, in order that Mr. Smith can get some sleep, because Mrs. Smith is reading and tossing and turning and getting up and down, is that they've started sleeping in separate bedrooms. Now, this is one thing which occasionally, if Mr. Smith is desperate for night's sleep, is totally understandable. Mrs. Smith's sleep is worse because she's worried about keeping him awake. He's got an important business meeting the next day. It's very awkward. It makes it harder for him and harder for her. So he goes in the spare room. They're fortunate enough to have a spare room, or on the sofa if you don't have a spare room. Now, that occasionally is okay, but I don't think that's a good long-term habit for the Smiths to get into. Sleeping together, and I'm not talking about anything intimate, just the act of sleeping together is in itself an intimate thing. It's a thing that promotes closeness. You're next to somebody, your body's touching theirs. It promotes that bond between you. Husband and wife, children coming into bed with mums and dads. Sleeping together is important, and especially for a couple, because it's that time, first thing in the morning and last thing at the night, that you want to be with the person that you love. So I've advised Mrs. Smith not to make a habit of this, but also to go and get some help. Go to her doctor, but also look at other things. Hypnotherapy, relaxation techniques. There's a relaxation technique I was taught where you gradually relax each muscle from the feet upwards very, very, very slowly. I haven't got time to go into it properly now. Hopefully one day we'll do a relaxation session and I can show you some of the tricks that I've learned and been taught over the years to help me with my sleep problems. And later on, I think Nicole's going to be looking at yoga and some of the relaxation benefits that can be had from that. If you have problems sleeping and you have any ways that you cope with it, please contact us and let us know. But in the meantime, we wish Mr. and Mrs. Smith the best of luck. And I said, do sleep together, share the bed, even if you're not sleeping properly, as often as you can, because the closeness of the relationship is the most important thing. Anyway, that's that from me for now, and I will be speaking to you again soon. Have a great week, Marbella, and thank you very much. Goodbye from Amanda.
Hello, I am just rushing in after I've been to the hospital with Romy. As Nicole has said, Romy had had an operation on her knee and she had to go for control today, and at the moment everything is really, really good. She just needs revalidation for a long time, but she will be fine, and then the second leg will be operated as well. So we'll be taking care of Romy for a long time, but then she will be wonderful and will be walking and will be available for adoption. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you this tiny little one. This is a little shepherd mix. Her name is Brandy. She's a little girl and she's very quiet right now. She's very skinny a little bit. She came in with 4 other ones. They are much bigger. So I think this is the runt of the litter. She's the smallest of the 5. They're all beautiful, beautiful shepherd mix pups. They, of course, as most of our dogs, were found in a cardboard box next to the garbage in the San Pedro Poligono. So somebody there has a mother who's without her pups and is not sterilized. This, again, I cannot iterate this more than enough, that it is so necessary to sterilize the dogs, because first of all, it is so much healthier for the dog itself, because they will have less chance on cancer, mammal cancer or tail bell cancer for the boys, and we will not get stuck with unwanted puppies. I mean, there are already so many dogs in AAA at the moment, and in any other shelter, they're overfull. And still, people do not sterilize their dogs and throw away the puppies. So please, if you see anybody with an unsterilized dog, talk to them. Tell them it's better for the dog. It's better for the health. It's better for everybody all around. And better for those tiny little ones that are now in a shelter, 5 of them again, and hoping to find a loving home. Because all our dogs, of course, will be taken care of. They will be looked at medically, they will be chipped, they get a passport, etc., etc. So please, if you want to adopt a dog, don't go buy one, but come to AAA. We have many dogs, and as you can see, tiny ones, baby ones, big ones, old ones, all kinds of dogs that are looking for a loving home. So if you have the time and a chance to adopt a dog and to get some love into your home, please come to AAA. Look on the website, choose one of the doggies that appeals to you, write down the name, come to us, and you can see the dogs by themselves and see if it might be a click and a new one for your family. So again, this is Brandy. She is up for adoption as soon as she's rid of the little parasites that are inside her, which most puppies do have. And then her 4 little brothers and sisters who are slightly larger. They're all on the website. If you're interested in getting a larger dog, but adopted as a puppy, then please come adopt Brandy or any of her sisters. And I will see you next week with another doggy, and I hope I'll have good news that this one might have been adopted. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Hey, hey.
Hello, Marbella, it's Amanda again, and I'm here not with a problem today, but to talk about something which I found fascinating and is actually related to me in my life. And it's something that Nicole was touching on in an earlier section about social media and the negative aspects of it, with children sexting and sending out photographs and things like that on the net, and how once you put something on the internet, it's there forever. You can't take it off most of the time. But I'm going to talk about what I think is a rather lovely story connected with social media, and Facebook in particular. And it's something that's personal to me because it's to do with my husband's family. Now, many, many years ago, there was a gentleman who was, in 1914, joined the army and was a sergeant in the First World War and was awarded certain medals for bravery, very important medals. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but went to the First World War as a very young man. After the First World War, he got married and he had children from his first wife who died, and then children from his second wife. Now, as the years went on, he became very disillusioned with the idea of war, and during the Second World War, he was actually a pacifist and refused to sign up, and instead, in Liverpool, took on the very, very dangerous job of being a fireman. And you can imagine in Liverpool in the Second World War, the port, the bombings, it was a very, very dangerous situation. So even though he was a pacifist, he was quite prepared to put himself again in the line of danger. He was quite an amazing man, and this man was my husband's grandfather on his mother's side. Now, he had a wonderful relationship with his grandfather, saw him as he was growing up, but the family split as families do, some to Spain, some to England, some to Canada, some to Australia, some to France, and dispersed across the world and lost contact with each other. Sisters didn't see sisters, cousins didn't see other cousins. The family was split up, as happens to lots of us these days. We have busy lives. When we do have time apart from our jobs, getting in touch with someone that maybe is 3,000 miles away possibly isn't a priority. Anyway, my husband was contacted via his Facebook page by his cousin, who he hadn't spoken to for something like 50 odd years. And it was about the grandfather, their fellow grandfather that they had in common. And there's a thing going on called Living Speaking History. And it's trying to get together pieces of history while people are still here to talk about them. The people that are still alive that were around during the First World War, the Second World War, during the major things that happened in the last century and even the century before that. And my husband managed to dig out some photographs he had of his grandfather in uniform in the First World War, and some medals and various other bits and pieces. And through this, he's passed this on to his cousin, who's in, I think it's British Columbia in Canada. So thousands of miles away, and they are giving talks and contacting, and the situation is that the grandfather and his life and his amazing life and the amazing things he did are being talked about thousands of miles away and are being kept on record. And this has come through social media. The contact between the two cousins, who are both grandchildren of this amazing man, are actually getting together through Facebook, and that was how they found each other again. How would they have found each other? It would have been very, very difficult. Family connections had been severed and lost and dispersed, as I said, as they are. And how many of us have situations like that? So through Facebook, through social media, this wonderful situation has arisen where this man's life can be celebrated, his bravery, and his voice can be heard all these years later, after he's passed away, through the lives of his grandsons that live thousands and thousands of miles apart. Now, there are so many positive aspects of social media, and we tend to concentrate on the negative ones, but there are positive ones, and especially within a community. We live in Marbella. You can live here, and yes, there's lots of places to go out, but to find those places where you might need more company, Facebook and social media are brilliant places to look. AAA, we have Lily here from AAA. You can contact them through Facebook, through social media. Many other organisations, Costa Women is on the internet, Internations on the internet. All these things that can come to these really positive things that can enrich our lives and enrich our sense of community are there on social media. So it's not always a negative thing, and I think you'll agree with me that it's a rather lovely story that someone's life's being celebrated through such a thing. Thank you very much for listening to that story. I found it quite moving. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you very much, and it's bye from me, Amanda. Bye-bye, Marbella.
We've been talking about the pharmacy, we've been talking about yoga at the pharmacy, how they give you the clothes, so there's no excuse. I'm dressed for yoga, and we're going to do a yoga class. Big thanks to Sana and to Amanda, who are going to take part in this class. Ziggy is going to be our teacher. He knows we are complete 100% beginners. So let's see what happens. I'm so excited. Gonna get my place.
Okay, so hello, welcome to my yoga class. I will do a class for beginners, and welcome. Hello. We will sit in the meditation position as you feel comfortable. If you can sit like this, if you don't feel comfortable, you can take a block and put it behind you, below you, sorry. So now we will do a short meditation with our eyes closed and with deep breathing. With inhale, deep inhale, and slowly exhale. Deep inhale, slowly exhale. Deep inhale, and slowly exhale. And one more, last time. Inhale and exhale. Now open your eyes or hands in the prayer position, and we chant 3 ohms. We inhale and for lesson. You can take out the block. Now in the same position we will go all the way down with our hands. We'll go forward as much as we can and lower our head. I will come and help you. Perfect. Hands move forward. Okay. And with the inhale, we're stepping back, going back, and we will repeat it several times with inhale, inhale, and with exhale, we're going down as much as you can. Stretch your back. With inhale, we are going back, and with exhale, we're going forward. And with inhale, we're going back. Now, in the same position, your left arm goes to the left, much as you can, and your right hand goes up. Look up, you glance into your hand. Okay. Okay. And now we're going down. Change the hands. left hand or right hand goes up, going straight. Yes, this is here. Try to look into your fingers. Okay, perfect. Got this position, and we will repeat it one more time. Other side. Hold it while breathing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and we're changing hands. Inhale, exhale. Look into your hand. Inhale and exhale. And release. Now your feet goes forward, and if you can reach your feet with your hands, perfect. Try to reach as much as you can forward and lay your head on your knees. If you can reach it, if not, if you cannot reach it, just try to do it. Stretch your back, and with inhale, we're going up. With exhale, we're going down, 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 stretching our backs. With inhale, we're going up. With exhale, we are going down. And the last time, inhale. And with exhale, we're going down. And we're releasing. Now we're turning around, standing in the plank position. We hold this position a little bit. If it's too difficult for you on the hands, you can do it on your elbows. We hold it a little bit. We feel our muscles, our shoulder muscles. Okay. And from this position, we're going to the down-facing dog. You should reach the ground with your heels, the correct position. So you should adjust to go a little bit more forward. Okay, yes, perfect. And try to reach the ground with your knee. Okay, don't worry, don't need to overstretch. Yoga is not about overstretching, it's all step by step. Okay, perfect. Okay, so from a little bit more forward here. Okay, your head is down. Okay, a little bit more here. Head is down. Straighten your head. Not with your hands. Okay. Okay. So this is downward facing dog asana. And from this we're going back to the plank. We change our legs. Our fingers goes like this. And we stretch our backs. And again, we're going to down facing dog. And now our left foot goes forward. If you cannot do it, just go step by step. From this position, left arm goes up. And try to see your arm. Try to see your fingers. Inhale, exhale, and down. The foot goes back. Okay, perfect. Now your right foot goes forward. If you cannot do it, just step by step. Your hands here, your hands here, and the foot is here.
You think so?
Okay, it's very easy. Just you need to find the correct position. That is most important in yoga. Sometimes it seems impossible, but when you do it correctly, it's not so difficult. So, from this position, our right hand goes up. Try to look into your fingers. This asana is very good to your neck, to your spine. And with exhale, we're going down and back. Now you can jump or you can walk forwards with your feet. If you cannot do it, you can go just step by step, and we're going up. Now I will show you how to do a sun salutation. Those positions is for sun salutation. So go into the front of the mat, and with inhale, stretch our backs. Exhale, our hands together in prayer position. Inhale. With exhale, we're going down with our hands. With inhale, left foot goes back. Right foot goes back. Now we stretch forward, up facing dog. With exhale, the downward facing dog. With inhale, we stand into the plank. Our knees goes down, our chest goes down, and our chin goes down. We hold this. With inhale, we're going back to the downward facing dog. With inhale, left foot goes forward. You can do it step by step. Right foot goes forward. And with inhale, we're going up. And we stretch. And with exhale, our hands in prayer position, heart center. We inhale. We exhale. We're reaching the ground. Now our right foot goes back. Our left foot goes back. To downward facing dog, and now to the plank. Now our knees goes down, our chest and chin goes down. Stay in this position a little bit. We inhale, we're going to the downward facing dog, and your right foot goes forward. Your left foot goes forward. Inhale and exhale. This was a sun salutation. That's it. So this was the introduction to my classes. You are welcome back if you want to. Thank you. Namaste.
Relaxing even for dogs. Darling is well relaxed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was so quick.
Hey, hey.
I'm all for making life simple. Not only can you come to the pharmacy and pick up your get up for doing that exercise, so there literally is no excuse. Oh, I don't have anything to wear. You can come in, pick up yourself something to wear, really affordable prices, very comfortable stuff, and then you can go and do your classes. You can also pick up fresh, certified organic fruit and vegetables. Phone in your order and then just pop by on a Friday and pick it up. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another week. We hope you've enjoyed visiting the pharmacy and meeting our guests, and that you will join us again next week. If you'd like to watch repeats of the programme, go to our web, MarbellaNowTV.com, also for recordings of our radio show, Me Marbella, and also for the column of the Euro Weekly News. And don't forget, we've got the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit coming up for the third year at the end of April. We want you to be there. You want to be there, because there's a lot we can do together. We are #so much better together. Take care. Bye for now.
Halfway twisted. You've been